Okay, so I know a lot of people were confused about hypotonic and isotonic and hypotonic. So my advice to you is draw them out. So if it gives you a word problem and it tells you that your internal salt concentration is 60%, that means that inside the cell there is 60% salt. Okay, so I drew this picture right here. The outside portion, that will be my beaker or container, and then the circle is going to be my salt or my cell. So I know I have 60% salt inside my cell, so I labeled it with 60% salt right there. And if I know I have 60% salt, then 100 minus 60 is 40, so I have 40% water. And then it says outside the cell you have a 25% salt concentration. So I know outside my cell I have 25% salt, which means that 100 minus 25 is 75, so I have 75% water. Now you're going to be asked three things on your test: movement, the size of your cell, and what type of solution is it. Is it isotonic, is it hypotonic, or is it hypertonic? Okay, so let's think about this. I know that things move down a concentration gradient. Water wants to move down a concentration gradient, so it wants to go from high to low. So let's look. Where do we have a higher amount of water? Well, we have 40% inside and we have 75% outside. So that means that we have more water on the outside, so it's higher. So that means water is going to want to move into the cell. So what's the movement of water? It's in. Now, let's think about our cell. What's going to happen to the size of the cell? Well, if we have something moving into it, then it will probably grow or get larger. Now, animal cells are tricky. Animal cells have the possibility to burst because they don't have a cell wall. Plant cells, however, are not going to burst. They'll just get larger. All right, now our solution. Well, we have 40% salt. I'm sorry, 60% salt inside the cell and 25% outside, which means this is hypotonic. Why? Because we have a lower amount of salt on the outside in our solution than we do inside the cell, which means that everything outside the cell, all of this solution, all has a lower amount. So that is hypotonic. Okay, so now let's look at the other example we have here. So again, draw it out, label everything. So this time we have 60% salt on the outside and 25 inside. So let's look. If we know things move high to low, where's our movement of water going to be? Well, I have more water inside my cell, 75%, than I do outside. So water is going to move out. If water is going to move out, then what's going to happen to our cell? Well, things are moving out, so it's going to shrink in size. It's going to get smaller. And our solution, now we have 25% salt on the inside and 60% salt on the outside. Okay, this is my 60%. So where do I have the higher salt concentration? Well, I have it outside the cell, so this is a hyper. Okay, remember hyper means above, so it's a hypertonic solution. I didn't draw an isotonic solution because you guys seem to get that everything is equal in an isotonic solution. So I just did an explanation of hypo and hyper. Hopefully that helps some.